Welcome back. We are following this breaking news out of Florida, where the jury has reached a verdict in the double murder trial for the defendant, the one we've been showing you throughout this week, the one who's unmistakable because of the skeleton tattoos that are on his face. The jury has made a decision in his case.
Wade Wilson's kidnapping rampage shook Florida and forced a community to face the unimaginable. How could a normal man turn into a vicious predator in the dark of night? It's a terrifying story of evil lurking beneath the surface of everyday life. The abduction spree, Wade Wilson's reign of terror throughout Florida, rocked towns as he carefully picked out weak people for his kidnapping rampage, most of whom were women. Wilson's systematic technique, working under the cover of darkness and disappearing into the shadows, revealed a terrifying amount of preparation and thoughtfulness. He chose his victims from a variety of settings, frequently preying on people who seemed alone or in need. Whether in calm neighborhoods, grocery stores, or bus stops, he struck with a deliberate accuracy that made the people around him a few pieces of constant fear. Wilson's ability to evade capture for an extended period only heightened the community's anxiety. Local law enforcement agencies scrambled to connect the dots between the disappearances, but Wilson was always one step ahead. He used a range of disguises and frequently changed his vehicles, making it nearly impossible for witnesses to provide accurate descriptions. His understanding of human behavior allowed him to exploit vulnerabilities, creating a perfect storm of chaos and dread. Panic struck as more and more women went missing, and rumors of them proliferated. There were community gatherings where people were urged to report any suspicious activities and to remain watchful. Friends no longer went out alone, and parents tended to keep their kids near. It was evident that dread had taken hold of the area, turning once friendly communities into quiet havens of worry. Investigators worked nonstop behind the scenes to piece together Wilson's profile from the few pieces of data available. They discovered trends in his kidnappings, each one indicating a worrisome intensification of his strategies. CCTV recorded brief views of his car, and eyewitness accounts presented a piecemeal image of a guy who appeared to go without a trace following every horrific deed. The community's collective dread reached a boiling point as the need for justice grew stronger. With each passing day, the search for Wilson became more urgent, and the hope for the safe return of his victims dwindled. His chilling spree not only highlighted the fragility of safety in everyday life, but also served as a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary days. The torture chamber. Wade Wilson's hiding place was ultimately discovered by officials, and what they saw was terrifying. The gloomy, soundproof chamber, which was intended to hide the unimaginable horrors perpetrated upon his victims, was a horrifying monument to his depravity. Evidence found within exposed a horrifying truth. Wilson had kept some people alive for weeks while torturing them physically and mentally. The walls displayed signs of battle, and the remains of the shackles suggested the suffering of the people confined within. Survivors described Wilson's depraved tactics of manipulation and control, which were intended to crush their spirits, in horrifying detail, giving graphic details of their ordeal. The terror of their solitude was heightened by the chamber's soundproof construction, which made sure that their calls for assistance remained unanswered. Investigators found a disturbing array of items that indicated a calculated approach to his cruelty, further deepening the community's terror. The discovery of this torture chamber not only brought a grim closure to the search for missing women, but also unveiled the true extent of Wilson's monstrous actions, leaving lasting scars on the survivors and their families. The haunting legacy of his atrocities would forever change the fabric of the community. The cryptic messages. Wade Wilson's cryptic notes at every crime site, which ridiculed law enforcement and the public, added to his reign of terror. These mysterious messages, sometimes written in eerie handwriting, gave readers a terrifying peek into his mind and alluded to his perverse objectives. Every letter was a riddle as well as a taunt, leaving room for conjecture regarding his identity and motivations. As investigators combed through the scenes, they discovered phrases that were both cryptic and haunting, often filled with dark symbolism. Some messages suggested a deep-seated resentment or a desire for power over his victims, while others hinted at a disturbing philosophy that justified his actions. The complexity of these notes fueled rampant speculation in the community, with residents sharing theories and interpretations, each more unsettling than the last. The presence of these messages heightened the fear and urgency surrounding the case, as they indicated that Wilson was not just a predator, but a sadistic game player, reveling in the chaos he created. Each note left a psychological scar on the community, deepening the mystery and complicating efforts to bring him to justice. The hunt for Wilson was not just about finding a criminal. It became a battle against a mind shrouded in darkness. The cat and mouse game. Law enforcement agencies initiated a huge quest to apprehend Wade Wilson as his terror increased. Wilson was extremely elusive, eluding arrest at every opportunity, even despite their greatest attempts. The detectives were left perplexed by his devious strategies and his ability to alter his appearance, which turned the chase into a frantic game of cat and mouse. Desperate to find him, authorities cooperated with other agencies and sent teams around the state of Florida. They examined witness testimony, scrutinized surveillance footage, and pursued leads that frequently ended in dead ends. Wilson's cunning use of disguises and assumed identities to change his look made things more difficult because he was able to fit in with a variety of settings. With each passing day, the pressure mounted on investigators, knowing that Wilson was still out there, possibly planning his next move. The community was on high alert, living in a state of fear and uncertainty as rumors and speculation swirled about his whereabouts. The tension between law enforcement and Wilson reached a boiling point, with each encounter escalating the stakes. Despite the relentless pursuit, Wilson's ability to stay one step ahead turned the hunt into a psychological battle, leaving investigators frustrated yet determined to bring him to justice. The shocking revelation. Upon Wade Wilson's eventual capture, shocking and horrible facts came to light. During the day, he appeared to be a regular person, integrating himself into society and carrying out his usual activities without arousing suspicion. But at night, he changed into a vicious predator, planning his torture and kidnappings with uncanny accuracy. The community's sense of safety was dashed by this discovery, which sent shockwaves through it. Friends and neighbors were forced to struggle with the idea that someone they may have crossed paths with might be harboring such depravity. It brought up important issues regarding the nature of evil and how it may be so near one's home, frequently concealed under a facade of normalcy.
Not looking up anything, discussing anything about this case with anyone, including close family members, and even among yourselves at this point. Your deliberations are complete, but we're going to have you come back for the plain face and do not discuss anything else at this point.
The discovery of Wilson's dual life forced residents to confront their fears and reassess their perceptions of those around them. How could someone who appeared so ordinary commit such unimaginable acts? This internal struggle left a lasting impact, igniting conversations about vigilance and the complexities of human nature. The community would forever bear the scars of this shocking revelation, a haunting reminder of the thin line between normality and malevolence. Outrow, we appreciate you coming along as we delve deeply into Wade Wilson's eerie tale. It is a sobering reminder of the evil that may lurk in the most unlikely places during his terrifying reign of terror. Perceiving the community's tenacity and the continuous quest for justice, may this story encourage us to be watchful and conscious of our actions. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below if you thought this story was interesting. Until we meet again, be careful and always be on the lookout for anything unusual.